in Podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that crowler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode number 187, I believe. Yeah, 187 Better on Draft podcast.
On a cup of coffee.
There we go. We are live in studio. It is Friday night. You can find us every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Better on Draft. Join the conversation. Talk to us as we are talking to our guests or to ourselves. Nonetheless, in studio, Matt, how's it going?
Ken, it's had its ups and downs. You want to go over the downs first?
Yeah, let's have a down off.
Okay. I saw that Halloween, the series that I love, is coming out with 2 more sequels, one starring children.
Okay. My rental car got keyed.
Did you buy the insurance?
Yeah. I always have car insurance or rental car insurance through my insurance.
I saw the Jay and Silent Bob reboot trailer today.
So did I. I liked it.
God, Jay Muse looks like he got hit by a truck.
He does. Did you know he directed the final movie that Stan Lee is in?
I didn't know he. No, I didn't.
He actually directed something.
Yeah.
He has a movie coming out.
Wow.
That he directed. It's about like Jason Mewes as Jason Mewes wanting to be a seriously taken actor.
Never. Sorry.
That's the whole reason why the movie exists.
That's like Bubs from The Wire trying to be a cop. But anyways, I also...
So my car was dead when I got to the airport.
Again, you got rental insurance, though.
No, not my rental, my car.
His car.
Oh, okay. But
his
you're
own
AAA.
personal
don't
So
vehicle.
you?
I landed. So thankfully, the parking lots over at DTW, if you just call them, they send you a jump.
Oh, so really no sweat off your back. I might have the whole Halloween series ruined for me. But anyways, I did stop at Cadillac Straits.
That was the grand opening this week.
The grand opening was yesterday. I stopped by today. Ken, you would love the report that there's only one IPA on tap.
Woo!
They have a hoppy wheat, not terrible, but they've got an ESB.
All right.
They've got a wheat. They've got another kind of light malty beer. Really good. I think they are the front of the trend. They do half pours, so they do 8-ounce pours
Of everything?
of everything. So as you can tell, I might have not had an 8-ounce pour. So I noticed that most breweries have either 16 ounce or 12 ounce as the smallest. They have 8 ounces for everything, which I think is going to be moving forward to the next trend of craft beer is micro pours, just because people don't want to drink a big beer, 12 ounces.
You want to try more stuff.
You want to drink more stuff. You also want to drink less ABV, just so you don't get in a car
End
crash.
up like episode 1 drunk?
Yeah, or 3 drunk, I think.
Or episode 3 drunk?
So Cadillac Straits, just north of 11 Mile on John R. Go check them out. Right after you check out North Center Brewing, just south of Baseline Road.
I was at North
Michigan.
Center this past weekend.
Of course you were.
Northville Winery and Brewery had a little festival, so I stopped there for a drink.
They also have a sangria at Cadillac Straits, which is 12%, which tastes like Kool-Aid, which might start the mumbling early for me.
Well, you got your MGD in front of you, your water.
No Dive Burners today.
I was gonna
I
say
didn't see
your
any.
what do you call it? Your dry July
Yeah, that didn't work.
is over and done with.
I went 2 weeks.
Okay,
I went 2 weeks.
Nicholas, how's it going?
We made it through the week.
We did.
At work.
We did.
Are you on call right now?
Going into the weekend, yeah, but I don't expect anything too crazy. The heat wave was definitely...
It's going to get worse tomorrow.
I know it's going to get worse tomorrow, but with all the businesses and industries closing for the weekend, it will be a little...
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be as bad.
I hit zero traffic coming up here from Detroit. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys saw. I didn't see any traffic. Usually there's a bottleneck right at 696 because of the 11 mile closing. But it was smooth sailings to get here.
For the most part,
I got here in 15 minutes.
Yep, coming from Farmington, not a problem.
What are you drinking over there?
Well, I almost killed this Robert the Bruce from Three Floyds already.
Good solid beer?
Yeah, good Scottish style ale, pretty good. And I just cracked open, haven't even had a sip yet, Batch's Fest beer.
Okay.
We got that from Steven Rogensen, didn't we? Or
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
when
that
they were here.
that was October-ish.
Yeah.
At the end of November.
Yeah, I don't even want to like go into my beer fridge at home for all the.
This
beer
one's
that
been sitting in the
sits
fridge,
there.
so I think this will be okay.
I mean,
We'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out if you like
It's
it. Or
better,
not.
probably better than that 2.5-year-old hop slam that we had last week.
Yeah, that was rough. I think
Just
one year is enough.
Oh
on that beer.
no! We're going for 3. I got 1 can left.
What are the tasty notes on that?
Yep, I got 1 can left.
Honey and
1 can left. January 2020. I'm bringing out the 3-year-old can because that's how old it'll be come 2020.
Anywho, I did bring a gift for us.
Yeah, I see a
That's
porter
from
here.
Track 7. It's called the Nuckin' Futz.
It's okay. We're allowed to swear. It's okay.
Well, that's what it's called.
I
though.
know.
It's,
I know. I can see that.
I got it from.
Did you know that according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages?
Gee, I wonder what gave that idea.
just period, like full stop.
During pregnancy, but I guess pregnant women should. Oh, I didn't read. Okay.
If you're pregnant, thinking of being pregnant, maybe pregnant later, want to get pregnant.
Matthew,
Don't take Propecia.
Is that what happened to me?
Oh, Jesus.
We
We have guests there.
Yeah, we do have guests here. Real quick though, so I brought that, and then our contributor Ed, I brought him back a 6-pack of Belching Beaver. But when I opened up my suitcase, it turned into a 5-pack.
So you have laundry to do.
No, it did not break.
Oh, did TSA help
TSA
them?
took-
TSA took it?
TSA took a bottle of my
Oh,
beer.
Fuckers.
Speaking of government employees, if I may rant for a second.
1 second.
1,000.
So I tried to send him my beer box today
Yeah.
because one of our subscribers got cut off for some reason.
Okay.
And apparently the word beer on a box gets flagged by the post office.
But you've been sending these out for how long now?
6 months.
And
no issues.
now you're getting an issue?
There's one lady at one post office that refuses to send it. Everybody else, East Point sends it, Grosse Point sends it. One lady at St. Clair Shores will not send it because it says the word beer. Well, she says, but it can't have a beer label. It doesn't have a beer label, but it's the burden is on the shipper, according to the good old USPS. So I took a black Sharpie and wrote, scratch out the one of the E's in beer.
Burr.
So now it's my box, and apparently they shipped it because that's all they care about is Pope Pie.
Wow.
So
Good old government employees.
We do have 2 guests in studio today. This is their first time on the show, but not the first time for the company. Why don't we have you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
Go ahead. Yeah, my name is Shamus. I'm the Director of Sales for Eastern Market Brewing. I do all of our self-distribution, logistics, as far as distributing channels go. So happy to be on the show. Thanks for having us.
And next to you?
I am John. I'm a taproom supervisor, and I help out Shamus every once in a while when he can twist my arm hard enough.
Shamus and John from EMBC.
EMBC.
Welcome.
So I'm just going to jump into it. Do you also drive the elephant wagon to drop off barrels, or are you more of the, hey, pour our beer?
Everything. So I go sell it, I deliver it, I invoice it, I go pick up the kegs. I do all of our events, all of our promotions, tap takeovers, anything external as far as sales go, I do.
How many barrels have you lost? Because that's always a...
Is my boss listening? No.
Which
I
one?
don't know. Sometimes we'll go in and be like, hey, we lost your barrel. Sorry about that. I don't keep track because I don't need to keep track of that.
Just
I don't worry
something
about
you
that.
Leave it to someone
If
else.
You're that Dane,
Yeah.
he doesn't care about that.
Yeah, very few. Very few, Dane.
So what has been your top-selling off-premise liquid?
Definitely the liquid I'm drinking right now. So I brought us some beers, you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I know.
Yeah, we'll break these open. This yellow can here is our elephant juice can.
Okay.
And it's our flagship New England, 7.2%. And yeah, it just flies off the shelves. And we actually just got our commercial canning line, and we just started canning it.
All right.
So we're pretty excited about that as well.
I was gonna say, that's not a label. That's printed on the can, right?
Nope, it's wrapped.
Oh, it's wrapped.
Okay.
That's a good wrap job. 'cause
I was gonna say I thought that was like the real can. there
Yeah,
for a
great
minute.
wrap job.
Damn.
So yeah, 2 weeks ago we started canning elephant juice, so that'll be distributed here soon as well.
Are you canning on premise?
We are. So it's a mobile canner. So
Oh,
it actually, I mean, it's basically the size of this table when it's completely spread out, and it's part manual, part automatic. So.
Now, how do you find the market of New England's? Because it seems kind of overly muddled at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I'll kind of backtrack. When we first started self-distributing back in January, what our approach was basically go attack the market, go to every single bar we can, bring our beers and see what they'll take. And what we realized is our New England started to catch on very quickly. So people were migrating towards our Market Day, which is our Session New England, and our Elephant Juice, which is our flagship. And they just kind of tasted a little bit different. They're a little more bitter. They weren't as sweet as a lot of New Englands that were out there. And then just caught on. And then as we put a barrel on and it was gone in 3 days at some of these bars, they basically said, we're keeping that thing on. And then as word spreads and more Untapped reviews get out there as well, which people read, just kind of stuck.
Do you have a favorite? Do you read Untapped reviews?
Sometimes.
Come on.
So, yeah, I do.
What's
It's
this?
like my Instagram at night.
Like, so I'm sure you have a favorite Untapped review that like you have burned in your brain.
Yeah.
Like when you're sleeping and you're dreaming of work, this Untapped review comes in and like.
Well, it was just kind of funny because I was reading this one and the brewer loved this one too. This guy checked in one of our chocolate stouts, and he checked in and he's like, pretty good, but I don't like chocolate. And he gave it like a 1. And that just blew our minds because like you can read the description on there. So it's kind of funny when people go on there, they know what they're going to get, and they pick it anyways. And they're like, okay, beer, but I don't like chocolate. So they give it a low rating. So they kind of rate the fact that they don't like chocolate instead of rating the beer. So that kind of gives us a laugh all the time, that sort of thing.
Are there any like thoughts on Elephant Juice like in the same vein? Are you getting? Because I mean, we don't have to talk about the big guys, but it seems like every brewery is now rushing to make it. Well, I guess not now. I'm rushing to make a New England, but a year ago, 2-3 years ago, that was the thing to make. Is everybody wanted hazy IPAs?
Sure.
So I know you guys make a lot of other good beers too. Mm-hmm. What do you think separates this liquid from the other liquid that you guys produce?
So what we did, and we had the benefit of doing this, we had this very small system. We have a 5-barrel system. So we were trying to perfect our New England for like a straight year. So we did like 7 or 8 iterations of it. We didn't just produce one and say, that's our New England. So we basically produced one, the whole staff would taste it. Produce one, the whole staff would taste it, until we came to one that we all loved. And it was less of let's compare to some of the big guys out there, why they're doing well. And it was more of let's all find a taste that we like and then push it out in the market. So it's more personable as far as the brewery making it. And then the taste, it's nothing else really tastes like Elephant Juice. It's a little more bitter. You're going to get... I'll be explaining basically the same tasty notes as other New Englands, but just the fact on how we made it, basically, and how we didn't try to copy anybody else.
So do you want to keep talking about it, or do you want to pour a little?
Let's break
bit?
one open.
Yeah.
Let's break one open. Here, I'll let you do the.
Ken, are you gonna drink any?
I'll take a little sip.
A little smidge. You don't have a little shotter today?
I did not. I made sure to grab my my Deep Eddy and a sugar-free Red Bull, but yeah, I'm just trying to like scroll through because it's always fun to read. As you mentioned, and I think a lot of people feel the exact same way about Untapped reviews when they see an Untapped. I don't like IPAs, 1 star on the IPA.
Yep.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Clear the sinuses out.
Yeah, this is floral or fragrant.
It is.
I think the worst though, like for me, I just dislike seeing reviews, especially like Beer Advocate reviews that almost are like a Yelp review, where it's like a paragraph for each part, and I'm like, you did not get that from your 2-ounce taster on a flight.
Exactly.
But I'm also the kind of guy that's like, oh, this beer is 3.5. Oh, this beer is 3.5. Well, which one's better? Which one's not 3.5?
Yeah.
Or well, how does this one get a quarter more or a quarter? Like those are the kinds of things I used to rate, and we always mention about like rating here, like how to properly rate for personal. Because your rating can affect not only the brewery, the stance, but what's going on. Now, when you guys are doing huge, when you have like our Untapped, which has about 20,000 people that follow it, it's a little bit different than just some random Joe who has his friends, or like if you're familiar with Eric Smith, who comes on every year for the Ashley show, he has like 11,000 unique. I'm like, oh, that's just so much beer.
That is a lot of beer.
Yeah. What do you guys think of it?
Well, he also travels like the world too, so he has a chance to like.
fair.
Well,
Yeah.
he's
When
got
he's
the
traveling
advantage.
Yeah, well, also Ashley's.
Yeah,
I mean, when you work at a place like that,
yeah.
I mean, they're still they haven't bit the bullet yet, like Hopcat, and started putting on Miller Lite and
PBR.
Well, they've always had PBR.
I know they've always had
but-
PBR. Yeah.
That's another conversation I think we might get into in the full distro hour.
Okay.
But so Shamus, do you want to talk us like through the tasting notes on the Elephant Juice?
You said this was 7. I don't. This is not 7, if you ask me.
7.2%. So yeah, that's
Tastes a
one.
lot lighter than 7,
Yeah,
so that's
our-
dangerous.
Yeah,
for
our
me.
brewer, and we have a triple we'll go through later as well. But our brewer got really well at perfecting a delicious beer that it doesn't really showcase the ABV, which is good. So you can enjoy it without tasting, 7% of just booze in there. So it's very smooth. So as far as the taste notes I get, everybody's going to have a little bit of different palate. When you first taste it, you get a little bit of grapefruit in there. And the cool thing about this New England is you're going to get that sweetness up front, but it's going to finish with a little bit of bitterness. So it kind of plays into the people that don't want an American IPA, but they still want to know it's an IPA.
So I think one thing that's completely different here is that you guys use Mandrina hops, which isn't a common hop at all. So to throw that flavor into the boil is just going to kind of dance on the tongue and the palate that you wouldn't otherwise. So you're going to, when you think of why is this different than other New Englands, some breweries have their specific hops that they use, mostly Simcoe, Mosaic, but you guys kind of are out of the box with this one, which I think kind of defines you and it kind of rounds out it. You get a little bit of abrasion with the flavor profile, but it's also juicy. It still is. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting. I'm getting the citrus. I'm getting the juice. I'm not getting any real. I'm getting the bitterness at the end, but it's not kick you in the face bitter. I don't know if maybe that's the malts at work because it almost tastes like a.
Well, they have oat in it too, which is different. They don't typically have an oat in a New England IPA. I don't think.
Yeah, 2-row oat and wheat. Yep.
So, this is a good liquid. I can see why people gravitate towards it. I don't know if the camera, you want to, give me the liquid.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So we can kind of do the whole thing. So, it doesn't have any opaqueness. You can't really see through it. So you wouldn't know. You would expect it to be, I didn't mean to short you there. It looks everything like you think. So is it typically served in a pint glass or a tulip or?
Tulip. Yep.
You're just going lush tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I drink elephant juice, I drink elephant juice. But yeah, it's got a really good color. So something we wanted to perfect too was the color. We wanted that not really orange juice look, but lighter. We didn't want it to be a dark haze, so a lighter haze that you couldn't see through. We wanted it to actually be a haze. And then credit to our brewers, Will and Alex. They crush it. They perfect the recipes day in, day out. So credit goes to them for sure.
So you guys, when you guys started, you guys had a pretty every week rotating tap house. So maybe this is more for John.
Nope, this is more for Shamus because I've only been with the company for a handful of months.
Okay. So I remember the key lime Kolsch that you guys had.
Yeah.
Is there a under the radar beer that you think you guys produce? I think you could still get back into this. I was trying to feed you a softball before you could.
That's
is there a
great.
beer that you think might catch on or that you want to bring back because you think it's maybe under the radar good?
So there's two that come to mind. One is one that we just brought back as a double, but the white coffee stout.
Yeah.
That one is super good, and it's a mainstay at how many? 3 or 4 bars
one
around
of our,
here?
one of our main distribution beers.
Yeah. So that one's really good. It goes quickly. I guess that doesn't count as under the radar, but I really like the coffee beers that we do, as well as obviously the New Englands. But another one was it was called Cash Crop. It was a coffee IPA, and it was very unique in the sense that people either loved it or they hate it. There was no it's an okay beer, I can handle that.
There's no in betweens. It was either one extreme or the other.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I miss that one a lot.
So you guys actually made me fall in love with stouts, and it was your cold pressed coffee stout, because Ken and I we were doing an event at Ford Field, or at Eastern Market before the Bears game.
Tailgate.
Was it a Bears game? I think
was the Bears game.
And Dane says to me, "Do you like coffee?" And I said, "Yes." He's like, "Do you like stouts?" I said, "No." He's like, "But do you like cold coffee? It tastes like Dunkin' Donuts." I'm like, "I'll challenge you on that." So I took some, and it was probably, I think I voted it beer of the year of I wasn't engaged, so 2018. Because I thought it was just so, it was light, it was coffee, but it was if you didn't tell somebody it was a coffee beer, you would just think it's coffee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of credit you guys as turning me on to darker beers.
Awesome, we'll take
so
that.
that's kind of your fault now.
Yeah,
That's a great
I should have
compliment.
brought a couple more. But yeah.
So let's talk about the future, at least the micro future. So what are the recipes, the styles, the thoughts that you guys have coming next in brewing?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, we have a small system, 5-barrel system, and with how much we've been growing, how rapidly, we're pretty much brewing at capacity with our system right now. And our main focus, just because there are big sellers, are New England IPAs. So we have mainstays basically: our Elephant Juice New England IPA, our Market Day, and then a rotating double or triple New England IPA. So those are always going to be brewed, and then we're always trying to rotate something as well. So we'll rotate in a random stout, or rotate in a Kolsch or a wheat beer. We actually did our first sour, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's a kettle sour. It's just basically called our Shock Tart. It's a Goza. And then in about 2 weeks, our raspberry version of it's going to be done. So we're starting to dabble into the sours, which is pretty exciting too.
So are you guys beginning to look for other space to start brewing all this? Because, I mean, you say you're at capacity, so...
Yeah, it's something we're looking into. It kind of plays into distribution as well, seeing how much we can distribute. But yeah, it's something we're looking into early stages, just to see what else is out there. If there's something that can play into what we're looking for, then it's a possibility for sure.
Well, let's obviously the big elephant in the room,
Pun intended.
completely, is the fact that you guys, as Eastern Market Brewing, are leading the charge to try to change some laws here in Michigan.
Yep.
So the law currently states that anyone over 1,000 barrels has to go through a third party
To distribute.
Correct. Explain why that is a problem and what is the solutions that you guys are promoting.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we started self-distributing in January, and we've ramped up a large amount. So something we looked into is getting the 1,000-barrel limit changed. One of the issues with the 1,000-barrel limit is small breweries, they have a couple choices, basically, is it takes a lot to distribute your beer on your own. You have to buy... Human capital is one of the big ones. You have to have salespeople, you have to have delivery drivers, you have to have vans, whatever it may be. So basically these small breweries have two choices. One, don't distribute because they can't afford it, so their beer is not going to get to the craft beer lovers in the market. Or number two, sign on with a distributor with basically no leverage to basically decide the margin.
Determine where the beer goes.
Yeah, so those are their two decisions. So that's the issue with the 1,000-barrel limit. What we want to do is we would like to up that limit to where breweries can self-distribute long enough to where they have the margins they need, they have the capital they need to either decide to go through a distributor or keep self-distributing themselves. So that's something we're looking into changing right now.
Where does 1,000 barrels measure up in comparison to other? Let's go with at least local states, like close states, so like Ohio, Indiana,
all the Great Lakes,
Illinois, Wisconsin.
So all of the surrounding states are at least 10,000 barrels or more.
Okay.
Ohio being an exception that they don't have a cap. For number reasons, they put a cap at 1 million barrels. Just because they needed a number.
Ohio's terrible, but...
Yes, agreed. Absolutely.
Our non-friends to the south?
Yes. So
Michigan's beard.
As you know, though, Michigan's the 5th largest beer state in the country. The top 4 states ahead of us are 10,000 to 60,000 for their limits.
Wow.
Is that based on brewery per capita or barrel per capita for being 5th in the state or country? Brewery per capita. Okay.
Yep.
Because thinking of the big states, obviously you can't discount something like Pennsylvania just because they have
Yuengling.
There you go.
Boston Beer Co.
Massachusetts.
Oh, it's Massachusetts, Boston Beer Co.
Nice job.
Whatever. I failed the geography.
Yeah.
So
really.
that's brewery per capita. Do you know where we rank? And this could be a guess in regards to barrelage per capita.
I do not know.
Okay.
Nope.
I think we're still top 5.
I doubt it.
Really?
I think we are.
I mean,
Just because Bell's.
Bell's a
It keeps
founder.
us
but
there.
Any place
off
that
off the
has
top of my head,
St.
Missouri.
Louis, Missouri, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if
Wisconsin.
If you're talking about craft beer per capita, I would agree but then again, Busch, Budweiser, they have 9 different breweries across the country.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think if you do craft beer per capita production, I think I'd say top 6, if not top 9. I think we've actually had this question.
Possibly. So 10,000. Now we've mentioned on the show, if we were to raise it to 10,000, I believe that would currently, for breweries in 2018, what their limit was, it would affect, I believe, 28 breweries right away, and then the 30,000 number, which is where's 30,000 again? What states?
California is number 1, and Washington State is number 2, and they're both at 60,000.
They're at 60,000.
And even when they get to 60,000, all they have to do is change their status and file for a different license. from microbrewery to brewery, and then they can still self-distribute.
But
after
at
that.
60,000, you need a distributor by
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And that's what we're saying. There's a time and a place for distribution. Just we should, have a better opportunity to get there.
Now in Michigan, say I brew 1,001 barrels. Can I self-distro 5 barrels? Like I'm doing 1,001 in-house.
That one barrel would have to go to a distributor. So as soon as you hit 1,000 barrels, anything produced after that, you want to
So
distribute.
it's not, you don't need to distribute 1,000 barrels. It's you need to make and sell 1,000
Yep,
barrels
so it counts
in-house.
Yep. So it's tap room as well.
So if I came into your establishment and bought a keg, would that count against you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you guys do cans to go. So does that count against your?
Yeah, so it's how
Yes.
much you brew. So
Okay.
if we brewed 1,000 barrels and we had 2 barrels sitting in the corner and we're like, those would be great at that bar. Those 2 barrels would have to get shipped through
Or
distributor.
wait till the next year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't tell John at all.
So, according to the Brewers Association, Michigan in 2018 just under 900,000 barrels last year.
Which put us at where?
That's 11th in the
11th.
country.
Wow.
I said 6. I said 9.
2 off. Not bad.
But the number of breweries in the state 357 as of 2018. That is 5th
You're
throughout
just
the
passed
country.
by
New York.
New
just
York.
passed
Yep.
us. Yeah.
So
Fucking Yankees.
that's 3.7 gallons per 21-year-old, 21 plus year old.
So let's talk about 10,000. I think that's kind of maybe most likely.
I think it's a start.
I think it's a start. Okay, yeah, let's use the word start. If you guys are going to hit like 900 barrels, I think at the end of this year, right? What's
around there.
Okay.
As an estimate.
Yeah.
We won't hit
so?
1,000.
How long would it take you guys, do you think, to hit 10,000 barrels? Is that something that you guys would even ever approach in your lifetime?
Not in the near future. We could triple our self-distribution and triple our
Tap room.
That would still only
sales,
put you
yeah.
at 33,000.
Yeah, so not
right?
in the near future, no. We would have a lot of runway to get to that for sure.
But that allows for the opportunity to grow. Essentially,
absolutely,
I mean, you up it to up 10 to 10,000.
Yeah, and if you have
Now you got more room to play with to potentially expand further,
Right.
Yep.
and more money to consider finding even a larger place to make more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bigger, larger brew space, multiple tap rooms. It just gives you that much more opportunity.
You don't like the closet that you guys have in the front of the house to brew?
And we're making it bigger.
It's
We're
very
staying-
homey.
we're
It's very
staying
homey.
there.
Well, let's kind of get to the nuts and bolts of it. Why is it at 1,000? I'm sure you guys have looked into
Is this like
how
a
that-
prohibition thing
how
or
that
something?
number-
Or
So I believe it was in 2013 is when that law was created because they used to not be able to self-distribute at all. Self-distribution was not even allowed in Michigan at all.
Yep. And
I-
that's the prohibition law.
Yeah,
That's
that was
the- okay.
prohibition. And I believe in
Okay.
2013 they went through what we're going through right now and they settled at 1,000 barrels.
so we basically got with the times when in 2013,
Now-
somewhat.
Was that just Michigan law settling that? Was that part just MLCC or was the Brewers Association?
Brewers Guild, wholesale associations are the ones that really come together for those negotiations and decide on something and then put it on the agenda for legislation.
How does it get like 10% of like pretty much the next state? Like how do you only get 1,000 when a lot of other states have these laws at 10,000, 30,000, 60?
It's like almost like an education thing. Are there people in Lansing that are not educated enough on this industry to where they had said 1,000 just seems like a nice number to start with?
I think before it got to there, the guild and the distributors gave them that number.
Because I think we talked about this a few weeks ago.
maybe.
The
Yeah.
the wholesalers are the biggest piece of the pie. That's
yeah,
where all
well,
the
yeah,
money
it's
is.
the three tier system. Absolutely.
So they have the money, like Michigan Beer and Wine Wholesalers Association. It's one of the biggest lobbies
In the state of
the
Michigan.
state.
Absolutely.
And what's even bigger than them is the other portfolio of lobbies that their lobbyist firm carries. So
Sure.
they've got all of the syntax, the tobaccos, the strip clubs, all of that are all owned by one lobby. And they say, hey, if you give our breweries this,
Yeah.
we'll give you all the rest of this money and vice versa.
Sure.
So when a brewery goes against that lobby, it goes against the entire portfolio
Correct.
of that lobby's, so you're going to see weird people like, I don't know, the Lipstick and Mascara Corporation going against their law because they're represented by that lobbying company.
Gosh, don't you just love politics?
Well, that's what this kid. But I mean, I think it's a noble cause. I mean, we need to. I think it's one of those things like Michigan is so fix the damn roads, provincial.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a reason why we can't have more of a say?
And something we've learned is most people agree with exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody's just brought it to light. Nobody's pushed it as hard as we're pushing it right now. So what we're noticing is when we are pushing out, that we do have a lot of breweries that are backing us up. I think we're at 60
Almost
plus
60, yeah.
breweries
Wow.
backing us
I've
up right now.
personally reached out to like 175.
How is the Brewers Guild reacted to what you
Where's
guys
yeah?
done?
Where's their stance?
They're
on this?
they've reacted like great. They've been they've listened to everything we've been saying.
Yeah.
We've met with them a couple times. Our owner Dane has direct contact with them. He's the one that talks to them mostly. But they've had their ears wide open listening to us. They know there needs to be a change. The biggest thing is just finding out where that change is going to go to. Is it going to go to 2,500, 5,000, 10,000? Where's it going to go? And that's the biggest thing because negotiations happen with the wholesale association at that point.
Yep.
But the guild is definitely on our side.
Well, what's the positive? Because you guys have wholesalers and distributors on your back too. You have people like M4 and Oath.
Yep.
I doubt you. I can't speak positive or negative in regards to like Powers or JP O'Sullivan or Fabiano, the bigger names. So I don't know if they are for or against it. But
we have reached out to
Vehemently
them
against.
and asked for their support.
Vehemently against.
again, I haven't seen one or the other, so I'm not going to assume. But I can confidently say because I've seen Oath posts saying, "Hey."
So we actually met
support.
with Aaron from Oath today just to chat. And so they're right down the
Shout
road
out to
from
Aaron
us.
Tyrell.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
And then
Blue
Mike.
Note guy, right? Yeah. there you go.
Aaron's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a really great guy. And then Mike from M4 stopped in a couple weeks back. We met with him. So they're both in
Nice.
huge support of it because they understand that there is a need for change. That breweries, they deserve it, basically. So, yeah, it's cool to have two from that tier actually back us up. That's a huge.
And I'll go ahead and tell you, Powers Distributing is probably 101% against this because their thought is they hold 40% of the portfolio of breweries that are in Michigan. So they want 40% of the shelf space or the tap towers. So this eats into their entire margin. And I would imagine that Petipren, who is the bud distributor, who has a smaller portion, but Fabiano Brothers, who have an equal, if not larger portion in their market, they have major qualms against this. And again, the Beer and Wine Wholesalers Association does this all. However, my question to you guys, and I don't know if you guys know this, why is the Brewers Guild going to the Wholesalers Association to ask them? Because it seems like the Brewers Guild should be able to say, fix this, or we're not going to be part of the Brewers and Wine Wholesalers Association. We'll just leave and start our own lobbying company.
So the reason they talk to the wholesalers is so as far as like leaving, doing their own thing, I don't know what that logistics look like. What that would, if that's all
Rent in a building,
5-10 year thing, or
rent in a building, and a guy in a suit.
yeah. So
Wingtips maybe.
I just know as far as getting this passed as fast as we want to get it passed, the fastest way to do that is for the guild to. And they're not necessarily going and asking the wholesalers; they're negotiating with them. Just like they negotiated back. I know 1,000 barrels is low, but the fastest way to get this passed is for those two parties to agree and then get it on the agenda.
But I guess my thought is you're negotiating with the epitome of the enemy, because you're a micro brewery, nano brewery. What's under nano? Micro nano?
Micro nano, we'll say that.
Yeah, I think it's just Nano.
You're a nano brewery trying to get Budweiser and Miller to agree to let you not give them money.
Sure.
So isn't that like the chickens negotiating with the wolves? The hens negotiating with the wolves saying, give us more hen house?
Yeah, that's one analogy. But it would be a huge win for us if they did negotiate with them, change it, and even if it went to 3,000 barrels, you got to realize for a brewery that only does 900 barrels this year, that is a massive win.
Yeah.
So I guess we can fry the fish as they come, but this is the first one we're going to fry.
He's got analogies as good as I do.
By the way, that 3,000 limit opens up 25 breweries currently, not including the ones just under that 1,000 limit.
And we said
too.
that 10,000 only opens up 28 to 35.
Yeah, it's around 35.
So I mean, we're talking about like 80 to 85% of the 100% under under 10,000.
Right. Well, again, when we're talking about an industry standard, it's kind of almost like what we have here in Michigan. As you mentioned, fix the damn roads. We have something.
Fix the damn breweries.
Well, no,
Fix
we
the channels.
have something within Michigan in regards to the laws because there are weight limits for roads, and there's a federal weight limit. But the Michigan weight limit is double the federal weight limit.
I thought it was less than.
No.
So my dad has a logging company, so he's dealt with that every year.
And the fines actually to overpack your trucks are so minimum that it's almost laughable.
I thought we had bad roads because we undervalue our roads, so we let bigger trucks go and shit on our roads.
Yeah,
That is right.
that's
means
correct.
I thought you said you had higher.
We
Yeah,
do.
we
We
have
have a
the
larger limit.
I'm going to
weight
make up
limit.
numbers.
Oh, gotcha. No.
The federal limit's 10,000 pounds.
right.
They do 20,000.
Yeah,
in the
no,
state.
no. I thought, it came
There you
off
go.
to me the wrong way.
When we're in comparison though, this seems to be, especially for a state that almost prides itself on its breweries and libations and stuff. Like I don't understand how, because to be fair, it almost seems like the MLCC and the guild, the winemakers, like there's just a huge disconnect between everyone. I think there's not enough people knowledgeable in the MLCC to handle that, but I also don't think there's enough people in the guild area, like the guild, the winemakers, distillers, that are talking to the MLCC and getting them on board. Because I've said this story, and it's a hysterical and terrible story at the same time. I don't know if you guys were at the conference this year, but when the MLCC told everyone that you needed to register every single beer you make, period, not just ones you distro, but everyone you make in-house, everyone around me was looking like, oh my God, what the hell, what? And so the guy from the MLCC is trying to explain it, but what also sucked is that people are asking this guy legitimate questions, and it's almost I'll get back to you, and I don't know. I don't know how, the guild can bring in someone, not the guild's fault, but the guild brings in someone from the MLCC, but he doesn't know shit. He doesn't know shit, and these people are asking questions, and that's what scares me about your guys's what you guys are trying to do, because I don't think enough people know, and to be honest, you don't have the money to make them know. That's just
It's going to be a grassroots campaign to get people to
but
rally behind
You
this.
got to think the amount of money that is behind everyone else. There's a reason why
Oh,
we're still
yeah.
a token state.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you go to any other state festival, there's no tokens.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
you can drink. You go to Indiana Brewers Guild Festival or Dark Lord Day or GABF, like you pay and you drink.
Yep.
Like for us, like we have to keep track of everything, and like there's so many threats of like, oh, the MLCC will be at the festival, which by the way, we are gonna. Are you guys gonna be at the summer festival?
Yeah, of course.
What do you guys bring into the summer festival? Let's lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So
Let's change it up.
Yeah, talk beer. So we're bringing, of course, our elephant juice, our market day. We're bringing our Down 3, which is our triple New England, and we're actually bringing a brand new beer we just brewed. It's a nitro double white coffee stout. 11.3%. That's delicious. We're bringing our red.
That'll be the first beer I had when I get there.
It is amazing.
Well,
So
is that
we-
nitro here by chance?
It is not. We have no way to can nitro beers.
Can I flip this table? And
I mean, you could just go to the brewery.
Just go
it's
down
15
there.
minutes away.
like Bobby Knight, just flip the shit over. And,
We're actually going to
That
be
was a
there
chair, by
at
the way.
the festival Friday night. We're going to be pouring for Roke.
Oh, cool. Very
So
good.
go check us out. Say hi. Nick will be there. Our writer Ed will be there on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Rob
Yep,
will be
Rob
there.
will be there Friday too. Yep.
My wife will be there.
I will stop by and say hi. I'll be there Friday, pouring beer for us, walking around.
Awesome.
So
I decided to take a vacation, and I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas, because who doesn't love July in Texas?
missing the best collection of beer in Michigan all year.
Well, at least you're not down there now.
I don't know if I agree with that. We'll continue.
Controversial.
Hot
Well,
take.
I think the Summer Beer Fest has its perks in regards to, I think you see a lot of lighter beers there. But I prefer the Fall Festival because I think the Fall Festival brings out some of the best styles.
I still think
in
the
my
UP Beer
opinion.
Fest is the best because I think breweries take their better beer up there because they know it's going to be a smaller market. And then the word's like, oh my God, did you try that beer? No, it was only at the UP Beer Fest, kind of trickles down.
Yeah. Sure, I can see that.
Plus, you get the tractors on the bridge.
Yeah, the tractor. Have you guys been to the UP Fest?
So I didn't go last year, but I will be there this year.
be careful leaving on Friday because every Friday before the UP Beer Festival is the tractor parade on the bridge.
Okay.
And
No, not
Maybe I'll just bring my tractor up.
I remember we're driving up and we're at like Ross Common and I see the time to get to the hotel increasing by hours.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, what is going? Like, we couldn't. Like, I was driving, so Matt was like Googling, trying to figure it out, and figured out it was the parade. And it's an ongoing thing. Like, everybody knows it. Like, all the brewers know it, so they always tell everyone
either
to watch
Thursday
out.
or late Friday.
Yeah, Thursday or late Friday for sure, or really early in the morning Friday if you try to get up there.
Yeah, 1 o'clock every Friday.
So
Don't wanna get that.
the goal is 30,000, right?
Yeah, so we put 30,000 on petition. We wanted to start high. So, like I said, we don't know where it's going to end. Chances are it's not going to end at 30,000.
Where do you
we're
want
aware
it,
of that.
though? Do you want it at 30? Do you want it higher?
I mean, 30 would be awesome. That'd be great. I mean, the higher the better for all small independent craft breweries, but we're also realistic. We put a number out there to start at. So it really depends on where the guild and the wholesale association comes to, but even if it was at 5, 7,500, 10,000, those numbers would change our business completely.
What's another law or rule you would want to change in regards to the distribution game here in Michigan?
Yeah, so something else that's also on the petition is removing taproom sales and only counting beer that's distributed. So you're allowed to distribute X number of beers, and that's all that's counted. So if the limit is 2,500, you can distribute 2,500, excludes taproom.
Would that exclude the to-goes? One thing that's gotten really big recently, I think, is both growlers and crowlers. So would that not be against?
I'm pretty sure that counts as taproom sales.
Yeah, so it's the distribution when you sell to a on-premise that has
Strictly business to business.
that has a liquor
not
license.
business to consumer.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep, 1 to 3.
I think if like you 3 or 5,000 would be great if you could also do business to consumer unlimited in the tap house. Because I mean, in theory,
not count it towards
to the number. Because I think,
Distribution number,
in
yeah.
theory, let's say you guys get huge. If you guys
that's
had,
the goal, isn't it? Always the goal.
if you guys could sell even business to business, like have a restaurant pick up a barrel at your facility, you could probably still write it up as business to consumer.
Yeah.
and and get it out.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was at Central, I did that with Mountain Town. Like that shit went into my house
I'm
all
from
the
Mount Pleasant.
time.
I love Mountain Town.
There we go. That raspberry wheat, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's anytime you sell to a premise that has a liquor license, that's distribution. Out of the tap room's not.
There's a lot. I think I can get behind that. Three, let's say 4,000, and exclude in-house sales. Let's do it.
Well, you're looking at 900 this year in regards to sales. What's your tap room versus like what number?
So we're on track to do between 300 and 350 distribution alone.
So even if you change the rule to even just go to distribution, you're still only a third. Like if you got it to 1,000 barrels, but 1,000 barrels distro, not including in house.
Yeah.
I mean that'd probably be a huge
So-
step in the right, not the biggest step,
Yeah,
but
right.
So the
maybe
thing-
a shuffle.
Yeah. So it'd definitely be a shuffle in the right direction. The thing is, once something like this is passed, it's going to be a few years till the conversations ever come up again.
Yeah.
So we want it to be significant enough to where until the next conversations come up, we're going to be doing just fine. We don't.
Well,
we can
how do
self-distribute.
you manage? Because if you look at 2016, we only had only 249 breweries. Q2 of 2016, according to Michigan Beer Guide. And I was talking to Paw Brewing, and they're a double-digit brewery, and they've only been open for like 6 to 8 years, so they're not. They were born in this decade still.
Yeah.
How do you kind of imagine what the next 5 years will be like? Like what do you guys foresee or forecast within the future? Because we all have, I believe we all have our own ideas and theories of what's going to go on with the beer industry, but I think it's definitely something that nobody can track.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, it's slow and steady growth. We want to focus on the near. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it'd also be very cool to open different tap rooms down the road. Maybe a tap room that does sours, a tap room that does farmhouse ales, that kind of thing. So maybe down the road it'd be cool to have 4 different tap rooms all doing different style beers. So when we think about distribution, if they're all under the umbrella of the same owner, whatever you distribute all together counts towards your number. So it's just not what's out of Eastern Market. They can do 1,000. The other one can do 1,000. It's all of them combined.
Okay.
So we want to get it to a number to where if we did expand to different tap rooms that it's big enough to where all those tap rooms can distribute, and we're never going to hit that limit.
Have you thought? I know this is going to sound stupid.
There
really
are no stupid questions.
Only
Matt.
stupid people
Just
ask
stupid.
questions. Maybe just moving into a different state that allows for this. I mean, we have the Great Lakes states. I know 2/3 of your ownership is from Illinois. I don't know how Eastern Market would play in Illinois.
Well, they
but
just got a shit ton of loan-free money from Danny G, didn't you?
Yeah, so we won.
Yeah.
We got 3rd place in demo day.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That was very exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
you.
you. It was cool. So we're actually going to build out another side of our brewery.
This means you guys got to go work at Quicken for like a month doing phone calls.
Yeah, we
though.
are their slaves
Yeah.
every other weekend. So
Omni consumer product.
honestly, fuck those guys. I'm still waiting.
Yo,
on
there
the
you go. I
appraisal.
was like, there's a rule for it. You're gonna be a banker.
yeah,
You're gonna be
I'm
a
actually
banker.
leaving the crappier business
And well, they are
to
I heard they are hiring. Over
They're
there.
always hiring.
Well, they just announced that they're looking for another 1,200 people.
because they fired 1,200 people a day.
The most insulting thing ever is being told that I'm only qualified to be a banker with like 10 years banking experience, a degree, and bank management experience. And I'm like, no.
You're a little overqualified for this job.
I'm a little overqualified to be a banker. That was for sure.
Yeah.
So I know one of you guys, at least one of you guys, might be heading out here shortly. So let's kind of get the plugs real quick. Where is the socials? How do they find you? Twitter, Instagram,
so,
Tinder,
you
Grindr,
Thrinder.
Snapchat.
So not all of those that you just mentioned, but we're definitely
Plenty
on
fish.
Facebook and Instagram.
OK Cupid.
No.
Do you have like an
I think
AOL
I think that
AOL
lapsed.
keyword?
We're looking into OK.
Are you on Google Plus? Maybe.
FarmersOnly.com.
Online,
Farmers
easternmarket.beer, at Eastern Market Brewing on Instagram, Twitter, EMBC tweets.
Yeah.
And then we're at 2515 Ryapel, Eastern Market, Detroit.
Yep, and that is
Yeah.
it's kind of off the beaten path. So definitely just park, walk around. There's plenty of-
Gratiot to Division to Ryapel.
Yep.
Yeah, look for the truck, the Elephant Shack.
Yeah, look for the
Yep,
Elephant
the food
Shack.
truck,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shack.
The non-mobile Elephant Shack.
That's right.
Still?
Yeah, so it has no engine. Funny story about that.
Oh,
It's actually it's
jeez.
the oldest operating food truck in Michigan.
But it's not operating.
Well, it
no,
works. You
the
can make
food
food. You
truck
can make food.
operates.
You can make food out of it, so it's operating.
It doesn't move.
Yeah, it doesn't move. Yeah, it
gets
came from
pulled.
California, and we'd like
Yep.
renovate the inside of it.
I suppose that prevents it from theft.
Yeah, nobody's stealing it. If tires are flat, you're not pulling that thing out of there.
Right.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. As always, our breaks are sponsored by the Ferndale Set. This is Brother Son. We'll be right back.
I'm headed for the city, trouble in my mind. I'm way too young and pretty for things to be unkind. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm headed for the city to see what I can unwind. Always gotta start it to dictate, make it in this life. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
And we are back, episode 187, Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken. We may have lost a guest or two in studio, but we are still going strong. You're not unmuted yet, that's for sure. Working my way through the board to get everyone in there. Yeah, well, I don't want everybody else to hear your conversation while you're talking.
It's not my conversation. Matthew's talking.
We can always hear your conversation, Nick.
That's true.
You were the one that's chatting up there, bro.
Nick, we heard your conversation on Sunday night today here in studio. That's how loud you are.
Sunday
is it just
night.
like it continuously
It's-
echoes through
hold
the
on.
universe?
How was I doing
You've
Sunday
seen
night?
Back to the Future way too many times.
I did get a picture.
Doc, I don't think we have enough room
I,
to get up to
I,
88.
I got a picture of me with the DeLorean over in West Hollywood this
Do you
week.
know there's a
The
DeLorean
DeLorean?
Fest?
There's a DeLorean Fest?
Where every DeLorean that still is in existence is at one space.
How many
at one
are
time.
there?
Like 360 or something.
The DMC, the DeLorean Motor Company.
Yeah.
They were trying to get it back going at one point.
I thought Fiat bought them, didn't they?
Did they? I don't know.
They might. I remember they tried, or Nike made the
Flies?
no, yeah, the shoes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, have you seen the guy in France who's got the new hoverboard?
No,
So, this dude in France, you can look at the French hover guy.
French hover guy. Okay.
He started with the water jet, the whole long hose
Yeah.
jet cycle, and he figured out how to do that with air. And now there's a dude who's flying through France like fucking the Green Goblin. He just doesn't have the pumpkins and
My
shit.
gosh.
But like he's literally floating over water. He's gonna do Paris to London over the English Channel, and like nobody's ever done before. So this is fucking crazy.
Hoverboards can't go over water.
He's got the air cycle board. It's more of a two facing forward than a skateboard.
Yeah, but they can't go over water.
Now
Unless
they
you have-
can.
unless
Hey.
you have power.
This isn't
2015.
1918 or 1918,
1980.
2080, 1980,
You wanna try that one more
1980.
time?
This isn't 1980. This is 2018
I think
technology.
you lost your tolerance not drinking for
Dude,
2 whole weeks.
No shit, man.
It's that New England triple IPA.
I was gonna say, have we poured the New England triple?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I got
Did
any.
you
did.
sample?
I didn't get any.
Ooh,
You
we
did
should
get
have
a sample?
No,
I'll get
you
sample.
gave me some of the Nuck and Futz, and you gave me the elephant juice.
So there's a funny story behind the name of this beer. It's called Down 3.
Down 3.
Down 3. So we had
Sounds
a
like a Lions team.
Yeah.
You're drinking triple
Forward,
just watching the
down.
Lions game.
We were at the Beer Grotto in Ann Arbor, and they did their Summer of the Beer Challenge. So there's 8 different breweries. Everybody put a beer on. Whatever brewery sold the most pints by the end of the night won. And we were there, and we were like down by like 5, and then we ended up going up by like 20. But we kept the whole night telling everybody we're down 3. People were like, hey, where are you guys at? We're like, we're down 3. Order more beer. So everybody kept ordering more beer. We ended up winning by like 120 pints.
Oh, that's a way to get people
Yeah,
killed.
so we promised them we'd call our triple IPA Down 3 and then release it there. So
I'm still waiting on them to make a Barry Sanders beer for me. Like I gave them like 5 good names when they were here the first time.
we had Carry On Kolsch.
No, it's got to be Carry On My Wayward Son.
It's fair.
Still, my favorite post Lions game chant was the New England game last year. Walking out of Ford Field after Carry On Johnson breaks the Reggie Bush streak.
The curse of 100 yards.
Yeah, the Reggie Bush curse, I guess we could say. Yeah. I remember there were so many goddamn Pats fans there. It was so annoying.
Wasn't it also a Monday too?
It was a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Sunday night game because Saturday we were
Well,
at Greektown.
They don't, people in Boston don't have jobs. They're either bankers or an Oxy.
or both.
I don't know if you can do both.
That peanut butter.
Oh, you want the peanut? Not
no,
the.
The
Nuck
peanut
and
butter.
Futz.
There's plenty. There's a whole bomber of that peanut butter. That's for
No,
sure.
it's almost out.
So Brooks Brewing has a peanut buddy style that I actually
Yeah. Yep.
enjoy.
Yep.
They opened in Ferndale.
the peanut buddy
so I can
porter.
get
Yeah,
there
but
every
say
now
that
and then,
just
yeah.
opened, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It's beautiful in there.
Oh.
It's really cool.
I saw Carry On roller skates with slices of pizza.
Yeah, going back. No, that was a hoverboard, I think.
Well, they.
Can we start? Can you drop the sounder real quick?
Which one?
The Rob's sounder.
Oh, I didn't set it up because Rob's not here, but I did notice while I'm setting this up.
Can we start-
that Brooks announced something for their brewery over there? Is that what you're going to
Yeah,
talk about?
I'd like to talk about that because
What?
we're gonna.
All right, hold on one
there's gonna be a
second.
new segment on the Better on Draft blog.
Here is Robert with the Beer News.
And he's not even here.
He's not even here to look around.
I
Like,
know.
what is that?
Rob, that was for you, buddy.
Shout out while you're at your graduation party. So Brooks,
Brewing.
Brooks Brewing.
nobody under the age of 21 is allowed, or is it 18?
I thought it was kids.
Yeah, no kids.
But I think what they said is nobody under age 18 is allowed,
I am,
making it no kids.
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like
because
it
no,
doesn't
'cause
say
no
no
one,
kids. It says
because no
nobody
one
under.
15, 16, 17, 18 is gonna go to a brewery. They're gonna go to their mommy and daddy's basement drinking
Schlitz.
hams, Burnett's,
Boone's
never-
Farm.
Boone's Farm,
Burnett's is
Pop off.
Arbor Mist.
5 o'clock.
So I think
My friend circle was
Pop-Off.
literally Popov and Miller Lite.
I was MGD and Captain
I
Spice.
did hobo
Smirnoff.
mimosas with like a Cobra and some orange juice.
Oh, jeez. Smirnoff Triple Black.
I was gonna say we need Dan here for that. That would have been Dan's jam. King
I-
Cobra and orange juice.
So you'll be able to read the pros list. So there's going to be a blog on betterondraft.com between our two new writers, Ed Nodden and Stuart Scott,
okay.
about the pros and cons of a kid-friendly and a non-kid-friendly brewery. But I'm just going to say there aren't enough places for you to be able to go without kids. And
yeah.
maybe it's just because I don't have kids currently, but I think if I had spawned, and if I ever do spawn, I'll have the common decency to like leave my spawn with myself and not take them to places where others would want to be.
I don't think it's necessary. It's not necessarily taking your kids to these places as much as letting your kids run fucking wild. Like there's a difference when you have like I can recall going to the gathering place at like 8, 9, and 10 years old on Tuesday nights when it's just it's post what's the baseball park over the Flynn, post Flynn baseball or softball games. So all the guys are drinking and eating pizza, and it's me and probably like the 3 other kids that got dragged there playing shuffleboard and Area 51 shooter up.
Well, I guess I grew up, my dad was an AMVET, so I was always at the AMVETs with my dad. My parents split time with me on weekends. And I remember sitting at the AMVETs till 9, because that's as long as you could be there, bored out of my mind watching TV or sitting there. And nowadays I see kids, and they're doing nothing but watching Paw Patrol on their iPads while their parents are running amok. Like, I'm not worried about the kids, like, being assholes or anything like that, but, like, if you've got a kid and all he's doing is watching his iPad or you're watching your mom's iPhone, can you not find a sitter and just shove the same iPhone in the kid's face? Like,
Yeah, but that costs money.
I get that, but
$15-$20.
in my thought,
Sitters are expensive these days.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
yeah, even
And I don't have a kid. I just heard that through the grapevine. But
Wow.
everybody-
that you don't have a kid,
No,
you
I
heard
don't
that
have
through the
a kid.
grapevine.
No, I don't.
I-
That sitters are expensive.
when I was
I
I was younger, I was getting paid $5 per kid per hour.
I just
And do 4 hours, 2 kids. That's $40.
see 2 kids every 4 hours. That's a Kevin Spacey kind of situation.
Whoa.
I did see where his star aligns on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he's literally kitty corner to
Macaulay Culkin.
no
Oh.
another gentleman with
Sidney
probably
Crosby?
hair like me, but it's definitely fake up here.
John Travolta's.
I'm referring to the commander in chief.
Number 45.
Oh, the Thrumpers.
Yes.
But I guess here's my thought. I don't care.
And for those of you that think about the rumors that it's like gated off or tapered off or anything like that, no, the thing's right there. But there's definitely vendors who purposely set up shop right in front of his star because people want to go there just to flip it off or thumbs it up.
So now they get food when they go to that vendor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well played. Capitalism.
Hey,
America.
I guess I'm not against kids. I mean, I am against kids at adult-only facilities, especially on 3 days. And I've said this for my age.
you talking bars or strip clubs?
There should not be a child.
At a strip club.
Actually, why is a kid not allowed in a strip club, but he's okay at a brewery?
Wait. I don't know of any place that.
I would say that a kid is as welcome at a strip club as he should be at a brewery.
Well, I can watch Home Alone and see people drinking alcohol.
I can
but I
watch Stranger
can't-
Things and watch people drink and smoke.
Yeah, but I can't watch Showgirls.
But couldn't you? On like TNT at this point?
It's
How many times can you?
I mean, maybe that's the Michigan version because you can't
It's
be
it's not
fully
the
nude
NC
with
se-
alcohol.
It's not the NC-17
But don't you remember
version.
like it was probably I'm going to say God, this makes me feel old. 17 years ago when South Park had their shit episode, where that was the one thing that we all tuned in and say, hear them say
163
shit.
times or something.
They
like
said
that?
they were going to say shit once, and they said it 212 times.
Or, yeah,
and now every time on TNT or FX or
It's like-
Comedy Central,
it's common,
shit,
so.
there's no problem saying the word shit.
That would be 18 years ago. Season 5,
close.
episode 1.
Damn.
And what number was that?
How many times did they say it?
Oh, I didn't. I just went to.
Yeah, they said it was the shit episode was like
162 times.
Oh, look at you, nice job.
Hell yeah. That South Park Marathon was on the other day. So.
But I mean, like, there are 3 days a kid never belongs where beer is served or alcohol, and that's St. Patrick's Day,
Yes.
the day before Thanksgiving,
Yes.
and New Year's Eve.
Yes.
No drinks. But again, I don't think a child belongs anywhere where there isn't food, at least, because there's nothing for a child to do except sit at a table and watch an iPad. And the kid can watch an iPad anywhere. And I guess maybe I'm against the iPad generation or the people that just sit and stand at their phone, even as much as I do.
Yes.
But like, I grew up playing baseball in electric fields. You know, I was listening on the radio today about what are the things that you did when it was really hot outside when you were a kid. Well, I played baseball, or I played soccer, I played hockey in the street.
Street hockey was.
You know,
my thing.
I never.
I watched Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
I was seldom in the house. And I was even more seldom with my parents. I remember I hung out with my parents like 3 times before the age of 12. That's one time because all of our parents got together, had a New Year's Eve party where the adults were upstairs and all the kids were in the basement.
Yeah.
And then we shoved a kid's finger through the door and he had to go to the hospital. And
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, there was one big kid and we wrestled with him and yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw this announcement and I'm all for it because
You don't have a kid.
well, not yet.
Oh,
I'm not alluding. No,
you haven't announced
I'm not alluding to anything. No, this is not an announcement. It's work in progress. Anyway,
Oh!
oh my god!
That's an announcement.
Shut up. Anyway, and Ken's got the headphones off, ladies and
He
gentlemen.
said it's a work in progress.
Come on, give me a break here.
I'm not. Just the phrase, the way you phrased it is what's
Well, it's
funny.
a good
No,
thing she doesn't listen to the show.
more
so-
power
so,
to you.
yeah.
That's for
A-
sure.
Anyway,
that's a very, very supportive wife you have there. Doesn't
yeah, I
listen
know.
to the show.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't even.
Can you put
I-
work in
hell,
progress in the show description this
Hell,
week?
I don't even listen to the show. You kidding me?
That's all right. Episode
Anyway.
187 no longer is going to be called Easter Market Brilliant. It's going to be called 187.
Nick's work in progress.
You guys suck. Anyway,
Everybody's
no.
work in progress.
Anyway, back to Brooks. Their announcement. I'm all for it because again, brewery is not a place for a kid. Keep them at home.
Do you guys allow kids there?
We do allow kids. We do allow kids.
There's a lot of dogs.
Yeah, we do allow dogs. We have no food, beans.
Yeah, so the dogs are okay.
Yeah, dogs are okay, which people love. But I can see where Brooks is coming from too, because what if a kid did go in there and accidentally drank beer, and then something happened as far as that went? Because a lot of places are actually getting cracked down on for.
Well,
I
I
was
think
gonna say, yeah. What's the Ferndale cop gonna do other
Yeah,
than pull you over
I mean-
for speeding or turning
right.
on a no
I
turn
mean,
on
my
red?
biggest thing is whenever I go to a restaurant or go to a brewery, more restaurant than brewery. The kids are running around, running amok. There's nothing for them to do, just other than sit there, eat their damn food, and like Matt says, play their damn iPad.
I
or
miss the
whatever.
days of paying attention to what restaurants had arcade games.
So one of the places that I went to frequently with both sides of my immediate family on my mom's side, that would be my Uncle Ed and Aunt Sue. Yep, Ken knows who I'm talking about. We would go to Cloverleaf over there in East Point. Awesome pizza, good beer selection. We would go there every Friday night. And in the corner, they would always have these little 2 sit-down arcade games. They
The
always,
Pac-Man ones?
they had the Simpsons, the 4-player Simpsons.
Oh, that's not a sit. That's a stand up.
Yep.
It's a button smasher.
Yep. Oh yeah, it was a button smasher, and I forgot what the other one was. But we would always try and beat the Simpsons every time we went there, and we did it maybe like a half a dozen.
But I think
times,
they don't make arcade games anymore.
No, well they do, but the thing is that, and I think that's another interesting thing. The arcade's a dying thing.
Well, the arcade is turned into a.
it's like a bar experience.
Well, it's
Yeah,
well
player
you've
one.
got the barcade where you've got
you got
did you want here?
like Terry's Terrace.
I have most.
there you go. I got a little
You have
bit.
Terry's Terrace.
No, the video game how it's the arcade game, excuse me, is your Dave and Buster's now.
Yes.
Or your
Okay.
Lucky Strike, or these types of adult
Level-
arcades, not
round
barcades, where
Because
they
they're
have
all
like
round
aimed towards
13 or
us.
whatever or
Yeah.
level 1 over at Great Lakes Crossing.
the goal is to buy a card and swipe the card
Yes.
and try to get tokens or tickets or whatever.
Yeah. Now those places obviously cater to kids because there's a lot of things for the kids to do.
I agree and disagree because I think it caters to kids in the afternoon and then it caters to adults.
Oh,
in the
you
evening.
need to go to the one over at Great Lakes Crossing because there's tons of kids
there used to be
at fucking.
Do you guys
Rainbow-
remember GameWorks?
across
Yeah.
from Macomb Mall?
Well, just in general.
Yeah, I used
Or
to
the-
get
the
a 2-hour card and play DDR for 2
the
hours
GameWorks
straight.
over that used to be at Great Lakes Crossing. Now it's
Over
the
by the
aquarium.
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, it's now the
like,
aquarium.
That was the thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
but there, I guess my thought is like, I guess this is completely off topic. Like, what is the generation now that's growing up, like the 10 to 13-year-old now? Everything that's going on now in culture
Yeah.
is a rehash of the 90s because now we have disposable income and we want to relive the 90s.
Well, I mean,
So the kids now that are growing up that are 13,
Yeah.
that grew up in the early 2000s,
the-
what the fuck are they going to have? Like Britney Spears karaoke? Like in sync hair braiding? Like vajazzles? Like
I
what are
forget, that was like a trend, like maybe like 6 years ago, wasn't it?
vajazzles or Britney Spears?
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Like what's a 13-year-old now going to have in 15 years? 13 years? 20 years?
Well, I think they're gonna probably be focused more on their technology.
saving the planet.
Saving the planet. Yeah, no, they're not gonna be anything.
What
they're-
planet?
Yeah, there ain't gonna be a planet in 15
I was going to say, yeah,
years.
there won't be anything for them to rehash in 13 years because
Yeah.
there won't be
Solar-powered arcade games.
solar.
Solar-powered
Jesus
Simpsons.
Christ. Solar power.
I believe there's still a lot of content in regards to what they're going to be able to rehash because I think there's going to be there's just a lot of things that they can touch.
The parlor walls of PewDiePie playing Halo 2.
I mean, the
I mean, we're
high
watching The Office.
the
still.
high that PewDiePie got was nothing compared to like what Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tap Man and Shroud, like those three. You got to think though, like PewDiePie was doing YouTube videos. These guys have tens to hundreds of thousands of people watching them live
And getting
playing
paid
video
and getting
games.
paid to do it
Yeah.
every single day.
So, Ken, what's your thoughts on kids? What do you think about Brooks specifically disallowing kids at their facility?
That's their decision, and I think it'll sell right.
Do you think that'll increase their business or decrease their business?
I don't think it'll touch their business.
Is
I
he
don't-
like playing like?
I
do
don't-
you think he's playing like
because you know
polite
what?
cop?
No, I don't think he is.
I
'cause
don't. I think it'll upset people who can't take their kid, and in the same sense, I think it'll allow people to be like, "Oh, I can go here with no fucking kids."
and with no crazy ass distractions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Millennials in Ferndale too that first of all don't have kids. There's a lot of like that generation moving there, so it's not going to affect them at all.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to be the business.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the person that goes to Brooks Brewing over in Shelby who lives in Shelby to come all the way down to Ferndale who might have a kid.
No.
yeah, but you might.
Like you said, you're going to get all those early mid 20-year-olds in Ferndale in the surrounding area. Definitely aren't probably planning on having kids anytime soon, if not at all, based on what their generation is saying. And they're going to go to the Ferndale location, and say, you know what? I know a place where they don't allow kids. Let's go get a beer or two.
But you know what? If you go to Bosco across the street, or Orchid, or the Grasshopper, or Howie's Bayou, or the Sneakers,
Grasshopper, I don't know.
Almost, no?
none of those places have kids.
Yeah.
Como's might have kids because it's pizza and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well,
most of that place,
is it still Como's? Because I
It
know
is
they
still Como's.
It's Como.
they just
They
dropped
change
$2 million
everything
ago.
now.
Yeah, I know they.
They're-
But like that whole strip at 9, like New Wave isn't gonna have kids in it
Yeah,
ever.
like that whole like downtown Ferndale area, you should not be having your kids with you at 10 o'clock at night. Plain and simple.
Or just like
That turns into like a miniature Detroit where all the bars are at. Like,
Didn't we talk about this? I think we talked about this a few hundred episodes ago. That
well,
I want to make
in
a
the
ma-
negative episodes.
I want to make a Matt Vegas by the Folding Warehouse, where there's putt and golf carts and foaling and blackjack and hookers, and then you Like, you know, all those warehouses right in Hamtramck, you roll in, everybody shows their card that they're over 21. They're allowed. You can free liquor, or not free liquor, but free to roam with liquor and booze.
During market days, obviously, kids are going to be downtown, but
Yeah, sure.
during the weekend nights, like, do you see kids at the brewery?
No, not at all. So, like, Easter Market after dark, especially, like, an event like that, there's...
Oh, you'll never see kids
No
there.
kids. And then, yeah, I mean, Saturday nights, Friday nights, it's always older adults or else, you know, like the millennials that are just going out on the town to have drinks. Kids are going to be during the week, a few kids, and then maybe during the day on Saturday.
Because it's basically a lot of just, I always refer to the term alcohol tourism over there.
Yeah.
Because on Friday, Saturday nights, there's nothing else really to do but to just drink over there.
Yeah, the only reason you go to Easter Market in the evening is out to drink, for sure.
And Sapinos.
Yes. Oh, Sapinos.
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree. Like, Easter Market's such an open space. There's so much you can do.
In the
Like,
evenings, though, what is there to do for kids?
Oh, for kids?
Yeah, no. some
fuck
people,
kids.
Oh, and people go there in
Don't
general.
fuck kids, but, like, you know.
In general, at night, though, there's nothing to do except to go to, like, Sapinos, Vivio's, Easter Market Brewing, Cutters. There's nothing else there.
And a lot of those places close pretty early during the week, too.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot-
they're not.
Very early.
But there's going to be a new influx into Easter Market. So what are you guys expecting? Have you guys thought about what's going to happen in the next 18, 24, 36 months in your neighborhood? Because there's one guy who's bought up a shit ton of property.
Yeah.
He's being a dick to everybody. He's kicking people out. He almost wants to turn it into a new commercial space and really kind of, I don't know, I think the word is kill the culture of Easter Market.
I think it's called gentrification.
I don't know if it's gentrification because I think it's
You buy
taking-
buildings and price out the old tenants. Gentrification.
I think what he's trying to do is turn it into trying to take a commercial space and make it residential space on the back of it being a cute downtown. I don't know if I wouldn't call that gentrification. I think like a transition from a quaint commercial zone to a mixed
I actually
residential
just
zone.
read that they might be turning Easter Market into a historical district, which would prevent a lot of buildings from being torn down or renovated.
That'd be awesome.
So I think the Free Press just put that, or Detroit News or somebody. But I mean,
but is that more than like I know Easter Market has its own conservancy or it has its own like
Easter Market partnership?
whole, yeah, like if they do that, that doesn't really mean anything for the the city council.
Well, they're just a nonprofit that owns the sheds, so
Right.
they don't really have like a lot of pull into what goes
Any,
on.
really.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of rumors on what he's doing. Some good, some bad. Everybody has their own opinion on Sanford. So, I mean, I don't have anything to say about him. But as far as the environment Easter Market goes, for us, either way, more and more people are going to come to Easter Market. Do we want to keep its culture, like places like Sapinos to stay there? It's unfortunate that Russell Street Deli is leaving because those are the spots that people come to. Because worst case scenario, there's like a Domino's and a Subway right there.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody comes to Easter Market for that. So hopefully the culture stays the same, because if the culture stays the same, people go down there for that, and then they come to our brewery, which is also nice.
I mean, my concern is like the warehouse that get turned into lofts.
Yeah.
And, or their boutique retail. Like there's a secondhand store now in Division Street, like a little retail boutique. Like, I don't know if the neighborhood needs that. I think it's fun as a place to go into,
Yeah.
visit, and then leave. But you have these hidden gems like Eastern Market, like Sapinos that keep you there and keep you coming back even when it's off hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's the charm of you guys is you're not like I'm not going to say anything bad about Detroit Beer Co., but it's right the fuck downtown. It's in the middle of everything. You pass by, you stop, you get a beer. Like I was actually kind of pissed when you started making cans because now it's like, hey, everybody, try our beer. I'm like, no, I know about this place. I go there. It's not busy. I get a beer. I get decent service. They know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want everybody to know about this because I want this to be my hidden gem.
Right.
And now you guys went and fucked it up for me.
We got big plans. Sorry, Matt.
God damn it.
I mean,
world needs to taste
it is
elephant juice.
it is a business.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm going to do is I'm
Well,
going to make a PSA of kids drinking elephant juice.
Well, we want to keep it like that. I mean, one of our pillars is community, so we want to bring people in, bring the community in, and then camaraderie, so people can, beer's just the lubricant for conversation is what we really want when people come to the tap room.
So as much as you're in Easter Market, like, do you want to sell your beer to these local restaurants that are right by you guys, like Cutters and Vivio's? And because I mean, wouldn't you rather have people who are there to come to you?
Well, so we only sell it to one spot in the market, and it's Sapinos. So they were our first ever bar that bought our beer before we were even distributing, really. So we have a really good partnership with them, and the cool thing is, like I said, even people that come to Eastern Market to shop, they still don't know about us, really. So our beer there, we have so many people that try our beer there. They'll buy pizza and they'll walk over to our brewery. So them, it's very strategic, and we love them there. So we want to give them our beer because it's kind of like a dual partnership. So with them, yes.
Nice.
I guess I think you guys are a hidden gem, and I know that, I mean, capitalism takes a hold, and you got to pay your bills, and when things get bigger, you got to pay bigger bills. But that's kind of why I fell in love with you guys. You guys were the place that nobody knew about, or they knew about, and it's a place you go, once or twice a month, but you go there. And
Well, you associate Eastern Market with,
the influx and the exflux.
Yeah. I mean, you got that, the weekend markets,
Absolutely.
and then you have, the produce, you have the meat, you have all those things down there that are associated with weekly or maybe even monthly visits. Now enters EMBC in an area that's really known for its produce and for its, for really good quality meat and all that, proteins and all that, and come in out of nowhere. Matt's calling you guys the hidden gem of Eastern Market.
But you know what else is? I mean, you lived in Detroit for a while.
I lived in Detroit. I lived in Midtown for about 3+ years.
I think
yes.
Eastern Market's like the last pure place. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got like this is maybe more like a Bruise Brothers conversation, but you've got the Cass corridor flipped. Yeah. You've got
Milwaukee Junction.
Flipped.
You've got Rosedale Park. That's like
New Center is
completely different.
I live in North End. North End's definitely just like
so.
The last 2 years, North End is like quadrupled in price.
So I think all right. So let me see.
Eastern Market's the only place that
it's like a small market bastion, basically.
Eastern Market is the oldest open air market in the entire world.
Sure.
So it's got its soul from the entire time. Like when it comes to Detroit, there's no place that is, I think, more Detroit
than Eastern
Market. So to see like loft condos go up and to see like businesses come in, like it ruins the.
Well, the EB Brewery Lofts, they've been there for a long time too.
I'm more talking about like.
Here's my take. Here's my take on this.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, because it's so fucking bad, right?
I don't know. I'm just waiting.
So I lived in Midtown from 2009 up until about early 2013, shortly after I graduated, and it was right before the momentum really got going for the turn of Midtown. Now we fast forward to 2019. In Midtown, it is high-end restaurant, high-end business, high-end lofts, high-end apartments, high-end everything. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some spots that are still pretty shitty, but it's if you asked me this conversation maybe 6-7 years ago, I would have expected to change that much in a short period of time. Now, in Eastern Market's case, you still have business, you still have the market, but you're not, in my opinion, you don't get that high end kind of feel to it. You get that small market, ma pa kind of feel a little bit too.
I mean, if you look at some of the people vending in Eastern Market, it looks a little high end.
Well, so I mean, what you got Detroit
sell.
versus everybody that's down there.
Well, I'm not referring to the
Are
stores.
you talking about inside the sheds?
Yeah, I'm referring to the vendors.
So,
okay.
I mean, a lot of the vendors are farmers that have been going there for
generations.
Yeah. So they'll always have those. But
You still have
I think you're going to have
$10 soaps.
Yeah.
And the mustache.
Well,
waxes
the thing is, Sterling Heights, they started their farmers market last year, and now I know it's Sterling Heights. I fucking get it.
Speaking of Sterling Heights, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast.
Mama, please don't make me go. Yeah, I don't wanna go so far from home. Yeah, it's got me riding that wave. I got my money where my mind is, and I like it that way. Ha! You takes me all around. Yeah, it's got me riding that wave. I got my money where my mind is, and I like it that way. Ha!
And we are back, episode 187, Better on Draft
Well, that was an
Podcast.
interesting conversation during the break.
Yeah.
We got to talk about animated movies there for a moment.
Yeah, you guys are
But not
often-
anime, because we didn't burn a bitch down in Kyoto.
What is this? Yeah. Oh man, that's so. Sad.
What did we pour right here?
Yeah, what
we
is
got
this? Is this
the
the market
market
day?
day.
This is
So-
our Session New England IPA. It's 4.9%. It's a little brother to our elephant juice. It's basically a crushable New England for a nice warm summer day.
So this one is a different hop build.
It is different hot build.
Similar malt bill, but different hop build completely.
Yeah. Well,
So-
they both share, I believe, Citra.
Right, but this one's Simcoe and Eldorado. The other one was Mosaic,
Mosaic
and
and
Mandarina.
Yep, correct.
So you've got less harsh ones. So maybe it's just.
It's just smoother, a little lighter. It's not going to be quite as juicy. Maybe a little more
So
bitter.
do you think the hops build the ABV on this, or the difference?
No. I mean, the ABV is going to come from the
malt?
The malts. Yeah, it's going to come from the malts and how much you're putting in. How much sugar is there to be eaten by the yeast is what's going to create the alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, it just it's different how it's preserved, you know. So you get a really texturous can wrapper.
Yeah, so it's actually it's matte instead of the shiny cans. So we did a matte, which is pretty aesthetically pleasing.
We did a mat like 2.5 years ago, and we
They
can't
just
get
won't
rid of
go
them.
away.
Still here. Yeah, easy drinking beer.
I'd love to see you and Nick on a show all by yourself and see how that works.
We've done it a few
done it
times.
Or you and Rob just on a show all by yourself.
Rob and I have done it a few times too. It's not that hard. We don't need you. We just like you.
I disagree vehemently.
I just complimented you, and you were too busy just being upset.
That sounds about right for me. So do you have other newsies?
If you give me a second, I can bring it up. Yeah.
Here's Kenneth with the daily.
News.
Sounds like the intro to Soldier Boy Tell 'Em.
You.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Still appreciate you
So
teaching
I'm
me
gonna
that,
I'm gonna
Dave,
circle
so-
back to an earlier part
yeah,
of the
go
conversation.
for it while I'm
since-
logging in.
So Eastern Market Brewing, Shamus.
Yep.
Do you so you have 2 cans right now?
Correct.
How far of a line do you plan to have? Because one of my thoughts as a former distributor is you need 5 different cans to go to market so you can get a full shelf.
Yeah.
So do you have 1, 2, 3 more other things that you're thinking about
So
canning?
next in line is most likely going to be our white coffee stout because
Okay.
that's our third in our flagship series beers. It's going to be Alpha Juice Market Day White Coffee Stout. Like I said, it's the one thing different from us that we're self-distributing. We're not trying to get in stores right now. We're not trying to fill any shelves. So basically, this is more for just like the general market, straight to consumer, and then very, very select beer bars or places like 8 Degrees Plato are going to be carrying our cans.
Like or is it Tuna Liquor in Rochester Hills?
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
south of F59 in Rochester, Road?
yeah.
Maybe.
They got beer there. They got kegs there, so you can maybe even get a growler
Order?
to go.
Somebody's
if
actually told me about that, yeah. And then maybe like a holiday market, potentially, we sold our beer there. So we're not trying to, create 5 different cans to put on Meyer shelf. So we're a little different.
Are you not looking for some sort of theme through your cans? Because these seem completely different.
So the
Maybe
theme,
I'm just drunk.
The theme in
or-
these cans is the bottom.
Oh, the bottom.
All of our
Okay.
cans are going to have that Eastern Market Brewing wrap on the bottom of them. So, yeah. That's
Is the next one going to be red then? It seems, or
No, the next one's going to be black. It'll be black and gray.
why it's got to be black?
White coffee, man.
Okay. No, I'm just, so my thought next is, like, if you want to fight people, you have to go through the distributors. You go to a Kroger or a Meijer. Bud is the one that installs the sets with their IRI at a Meijer, and Miller does the IRI and they build the sets at Kroger.
Yeah.
So how, if you're going to self-distribute, are you going to carve yourself into larger mainstream establishments where you can get it every day? And I know that you just said that you're not looking to do that, but Old Nation with their M43 had a hell of a time. They basically had to say, hey, we sell so much beer that you have to let us in. So what's the plan to get into bigger places where you can grow to 3,000, 5,000,
Yeah.
10,000 barrels?
So basically our strategy, and I will go back to it, we're not trying to get in those big spots. Our strategy is to only sell the bars, and we actually created a kind of a cool little algorithm that tells us what bars are the best.
Fucking millennials.
And have the best chance of pushing people back to the brewery. So our only goal is to sell beer to the bars that have the best chance of those patrons coming back to the brewery and drinking our beer. So we want everybody to come to the tap room, and our beer being in the market is strictly for marketing. It's not one of our giant revenue streams. It's to get people back to the tap room where the revenue is actually made.
So let's shout those breweries out. What are like the top 3 to 5 bars that bring people to Eastern Market Brewery?
Well, first of all, I love all the bars I sell to, all great beer buyers. I love you all.
See what I did? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first
But there's got to be like a top 2
like
or 3.
Clubhouse BFD.
Okay.
Anthony there, he's amazing. He buys anything we throw at him, and the people that go to that bar love coming down to our brewery too. Ashley's in Ann Arbor's a great one. Ashley in Ann Arbor's a great one as well. The Beer Grotto in Ann Arbor. Hopcat, we actually have a permanent tap at Hopcat Detroit. Our market day's on there permanently, so that's a great crowd because they're a mile from us. And then we'll go with like the Maury in Royal Oak. They also have market day on too.
So we talked earlier, you and I off the air, about another different way to kind of
Words.
negotiate
Feelings.
is to let you distribute to within a circle, within a radius of the brewery.
Yeah.
But you just told me that the 5 best accounts that you have, none of them are within 20 miles of you.
Well, you made me like off the top of my head. If I had a list in front of me, I could point out.
Well,
more.
I know, but like
so
the reason that you gave me 5 brewery or 5 beer bars that are nowhere near you.
yeah.
So
Well, you got to realize a lot of people that come to downtown Detroit are people from the suburbs. They'll come down for the night to have a dinner with their wife, whatever it may be. So a lot of those people are coming down and saying, "Hey, we'll go to these breweries." So Clubhouse BFD, people from Ann Arbor, the Hopcat, that's in Detroit, so that's a big one. Maury's in Royal Oak, that's not far from Detroit. So those are the people that are coming downtown Detroit for market Saturdays or whatever it may be. So those are the people that we're targeting.
So do you feel that you're more of a catch-all or like a rendezvous point for the suburbanites? Like, hey, we had this beer at the Grotto or at BFD. Let's all meet here and then go to X. Because, I mean, for me, like I've gone to a few Tigers games, a few Lions games, and my goal is always park right outside your brewery, have a beer, take the long walk, and then come back, have a couple of beers, and then drive.
Yeah. So we absolutely want to be a destination. We don't want somebody to go, hey, let's go to Eastern Market for a flight and then go to all these other spots. We want people to come to the brewery and have an experience. So that's why we have our alleyway. You can play cornhole. You can sit outside. You can go out into the front of the brewery and have the bar out there too. We have our food truck. So our goal is to have people come, enjoy the experience, have a sense of community, and just hang out at the brewery for X amount of hours until they're ready to go home.
Do you guys do anything weekly at Eastern Market? Do you have any reservation events?
Yeah, so we have a run club we do every single Wednesday, which is called a lot attraction. And then right after one run club, all the runners get 20% off for trivia, which Rob is always in there for trivia.
Rob who? I don't know Rob.
The Rob. The Sporkle Rob.
Yeah,
Robert.
Sporkle.
Yeah, so that's like our main event. And then market Saturdays are always huge. So if you come down to the market, grab your fresh produce, grab a market fresh beer, it makes for a pretty good Saturday as well.
I'm looking. Oh, go on.
No, I was really gonna scrape the bottom on that one.
That's okay. So I was kind of looking at the news a little bit.
I didn't give you much to go with there.
And here's a little interesting conversation because we all obviously have people we look up to in regards to like the celebrity world or characters or anything like that we look at. And Tony Hawk actually did a beer over at Black Plague Brewing in San Diego.
That's depressing.
It's called Tony Hawk's, like HAWKPS IPA. So I think it might maybe Tony Hops. There you go, Tony Hops, HAWPS.
Did they recently add more hops to it?
Yeah, I think they tripled the hops.
No, they put 900 hops into it.
Is there a brewer or a TV show or a movie, like if they did a themed movie, like that you would just jump on right away? It doesn't matter like who does the brewing, but obviously we grew up in the video game era of PlayStation. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was probably big in some of our lives.
Yeah.
At least for me, I love that
Number
game.
2.
First one.
The second Tony Hawk, or
when
was
you
it
get-
number 2?
Oh, Tony Hawk number 2.
Okay.
Tony Hawk 2.
I didn't know if it was second on your list. Like there was another game before before that.
I've always been more of a sports gamer. Triple play baseball is my number one.
Okay.
Triple play baseball.
Or yeah, PlayStation 1 triple play baseball. I was Chipper Jones all the time, and I had like 100 home runs in a full season.
Like, is there a TV show or a actor, actress, a movie that you would probably just go out and buy a beer just because it's that? Like, I think if they made a How I Met Your Mother beer, like if somebody actually made like a Warmpus
Puzzles Brewing Company.
or Puzzles,
Yeah, I would. That right there. That's what I would go buy that.
like I would definitely go buy a Puzzles beer. And then when they ask you what kind of beer it is, you'd be like, "That's the Puzzle."
I would do it if South Park did it.
A South Park beer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody, like, especially being in Colorado, or based in Colorado.
Yeah.
That nobody's ever done a South. They might have. I'm gonna.
Shut
No,
up,
I'm
Kenny.
sure. I'm
Shut
sure.
up,
they
Kenny
have.
Ale or something.
Yeah.
No.
Or
The BGC beer, the big giant clit.
Well, there's a brewery in South Park called South Park Brewing, so this might be a little bit harder.
No,
to
but
try
South
to
Park
find.
isn't actually a city in
Yes.
Colorado.
Yes. South Park Brewery is in San Diego, though.
Oh,
well, like Fort Collins, Colorado, or something.
I don't- I-
because they
I-
always seem to go to Fort Collins a lot in that show.
I actually learned for the first time that Casa Bonita is a real place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that people.
Casa
It's
Bonita.
literally what the cartoon is, with like cliff divers and the food and the music and stuff.
It's like
did
it's like
did
it's
you
like,
install a point of sale system?
it's
there?
like it's
I did not.
it's like the Caesarland, but like Mexican culture, basically. Remember Caesarland growing up?
I do
No.
remember Caesarland
Oh.
at Hoover 11.
Yeah, Hoover 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes, I think a Dunder Mifflin would be a great beer. I think that would sell the fuck out.
Yeah,
I mean,
The
I'm-
Office is the most universal.
It
show.
is for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, or like a Central
Or I
Perk
was
Coffee
gonna
Stout.
Say, yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Central Perk.
Central Perk, the Friends TV
Yeah,
show.
Friends.
So
Friends.
I'm gonna shout out Dan Riley real quick. I used to love Anthony Bourdain. Like I used
Yeah.
to, and I think everybody, okay, and that's why it hurt me so much. Like I was generally like stunned. Like I think everybody wanted to be Anthony Bourdain or Zane Lamprey. We had him on a few episodes ago. Like they have the coolest jobs. They get to fly around the world. They drop in. They get a hotel. They live the culture. They leave. Like that was my thing. Like I had like DVR'd every episode and watched them all. Zane Lamprey, the Anthony Bourdain, Andrew Zimmern to a different extent, but he didn't drink because he was a recovering heroin
What about
addict.
Bar Rescue?
I don't like John Taffer.
You don't like John Taffer?
because his wife's too hot for him.
You don't like. You're just jealous of him.
No, he just I don't know why, but his wife is smoking hot, and and some guy's like, "Oh, I drank a Guinness and it made me vomit." No, you made yourself vomit. Okay, his shows like the Housewives of everything else. But I remember like I started watching Anthony Bourdain like when he was on like the Travel Channel, like before he got to CNN and before wherever else he was, and that was cool. Like you get to see this fucking just raw guy be himself and go to places where he didn't belong, but he found a way to fit in over food,
He came to Detroit one time.
and he just fit in. Like he just was. And there was one of the
We love Detroit.
one of the things that Dan Riley always prescribed was, I wish I could say that I'm from Detroit because saying that you're from Detroit is one of the coolest things ever. And that still rings true. And just that was the guy that I always looked to, and that was devastating, and it still is because there's nothing I would rather do than write and travel the world and have somebody else pay for it and live.
Yeah.
But it's him, and Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay.
Because that's the one of the few shows that I DVR is Beat Bobby Flay. And I watch everybody go against Bobby Flay. And I would love to meet Bobby Flay. And he always liked chili peppers and Southwestern flavors. So it'd be like a sculpin probably, and Ken would hate it. But
Well, the reason I asked too is along with Tony Hops, obviously Shorts Brewing came out with Chief Hopper.
hey, I should put a C and D on them. Because that's Chief Holla? Come on. Give me a Chief Holla or a Chief Hopper? Come on. That's too
now
close.
it understands a little bit more.
That's
I
a
was
train
like, why
hopper.
are you...
Train hopper. Train holler. Come on. I think I've got a C&D for shorts. You hear me, Joe Short? I told you to brew a beer. You told me, oh, we've done it before. Come on. C&D. Or you just brew me a beer.
It's interesting to see like all these shows that revolve around food and alcohol, and there was one that, as we kind of mentioned, Dan Riley, and I think he has like a despise for this. But did you guys ever see the Detroit episode of Beerland from Vice?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Can't say.
I had seen this episode. I sought it out. I saw the episode, and it was by far one of the worst like variations of Detroit that wasn't just ruin porn.
I would say that when Tony Bourdain came here, or Anthony Bourdain, they overly ruin porned it. And when Beerland came, it was overly, hey, look at the small community. Mm-hmm. However, as someone who was in Detroit a lot myself, and I think even you, I don't recognize any of what they did in Detroit.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like they could have been in Farmington or Monroe. Like, it didn't look like what I know Detroit to be, which is, I mean, it's a rough place, but like, there was one place that was like a super art festival of like people of color that were brewing their own beer and having a like, that sounds nothing like the city that I know of. And I would love to know where it was, because I think it'd be a great thing for us to promote. But it just seemed like such a San Franciscoized version of Detroit. Like, it didn't seem true.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Am I? Does that kind of feel how you felt?
It definitely didn't feel like it was. It really weirdly portrayed Detroit, because obviously they had like non-Detroit areas in there, because they went to like One-Eyed Betty's, and they went to I'm trying to think of where else they went. I just remember the One-Eyed Betty's part of it, but yeah, it just seemed very, very weird, like, when you're trying to promote the alcohol community within the state. And that's, we kind of talked about it with Zane Lamprey, because Zane Lamprey has had how many TV shows, how many episodes, but he's never come to Detroit.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I like Andrew Zimmern. And this is one of the things he did when he was here is, he went to Hamtramck, which is something nobody would ever consider doing.
Yeah. You should, though, the amount of good food that's in that city.
But also he met with a group of people that would mow vacant lots. And they would do a cookout, and they would mow the lots on riding tractors.
That's the Man vs. Food.
No, it was
okay.
Andrew Zimmer.
I'm pretty sure Man vs. Food did it too.
I don't know. They cooked like a 200-pound hamburger.
I remember that, but that was downriver.
Ew. Oh, I wouldn't have touched that food. But they called. What they did was they put tin-foiled meat and vegetables inside of a lawnmower, and they cooked it up. And they had another guy who like made muskrat or raccoon.
Yeah,
and that was like true ass Detroit. Like,
I was gonna say,
raccoon and
what's the weirdest food you've ever eaten?
Weirdest food. I mean, I don't know if you consider like cow tongue weird.
Love cow tongue.
I grew up on a farm, so my dad, when we butchered cows, they butcher everything.
Yeah.
Probably cow tongue, cow liver. That's probably the weirdest.
Use every piece of the animal.
Dude, cow tongue is amazing, though.
It is delicious.
It's like a bologna, like a little
so
prosciutto.
my dad cooked it and then gave it to my sister and was like, hey, try this chicken. And she ate it. And she's like, this is so good. And he's like, that's cow tongue. She's like, what? And almost went through.
I had it at a deli, and they shaved it really thin.
Yeah.
And it tasted just like a prosciutto, like a salty, melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
Super good.
You just can't think about like that it was a cow tongue, because cows literally lick shit throughout their life. So.
Yeah, but I mean, if you clean it.
Yeah.
Nick, what's the worst thing that you ever think?
Worst, like, food.
Not
weirdest.
Weirdest? I honestly can say I have never had anything weird, but no. I'm not even joking. But when I went to New Orleans a couple 2 years ago, and the cuisine down there is just totally different than what you would expect up here.
Get some beignets.
Beignets,
Big nuts?
seafood. I had crawfish for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, crawfish.
Yeah.
Good.
I had eggs. I mean, I did eggs Benedict for the first time, but hold on, it wasn't just a regular eggs Benedict.
I'm questioning.
It wasn't a regular eggs Benedict. It was with lobster.
I've had
So
Fish
it's like-
Bones in Troy does that.
Well, I don't go to something overpriced like that. Fuck that place.
You just traveled 3,000 miles.
I was there to go see the Lions get their asses whooped. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
but the food was something I've never seen before in Detroit. And
I guess New Orleans is the next place.
if you get down there, you go. Don't find anything chain. Obviously, you find the ma pop.
Oh, I don't go to Popeyes.
Don't go to Popeyes.
It's like when Michael Scott goes to New York. He's like,
You go to the places that you know off the beaten path. That's where the best food is.
I mean, that's what I like. Whenever I travel, if I try to go to like places that I'll never go again, just because it's always fun to go to these random ass dive bars or restaurants, or just to see what the local places. But I've had a lot more misses than I have hits trying to go to these places.
So when I graduated from college with a liberal arts degree in 2008.
That makes sense.
So I had no job prospects. So I ended up selling phone lines door to door, and the guy that I worked with and I was closest to, he eventually moved to Jackson, to the Irish Hills with his kid and his wife and all that stuff. And so he invites me out to Jackson, and his son is like fishing for rocks, like kids do. And one of them is a snail, and I notice it, and I grab that snail, and I just smashed it on the table, and I ate it right in front of this kid, and he's like, "You ate my rocks!" And he's trying to eat rocks and all that stuff.
Kids still eating rocks this day.
Sorry, Haynes.
So my standard, like, I don't mind a lot of different types of food.
Nothing
So
spicy.
nothing spicy, no. Like I don't mind trying new foods. Like I've had calamari, the standards. But I think the weirdest would either be like I had rabbit sliders,
Okay.
and obviously being Polish, chinina, which is duck blood soup.
Okay.
So
What? That's pretty weird. Well, because I mean, it's not my heritage.
it's-
but
it's-
Polacks, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
it's definitely it's a really, really sweet soup, because you get like beets in there.
Yeah.
And
Everything that's red gets put in a soup, and then you get duck bones.
No, you get duck blood.
they
Yeah,
actually
but
put
they
duck blood in
flavor
it.
it with the bones, though.
Well, what's that?
They actually put blood in it.
Yes.
yeah.
Actual blood in there. I always remember a friend of mine, she didn't realize it when she was younger, but her parents used to take her to the butcher, and she would get to pick out the duck, and didn't realize why she got to
That she
choose
was
the duck.
eating it?
Yeah.
10 years later.
So I had the same problem. I was German, and every summer or every spring rather, my grandpa would take me to Atlas or Hercules Tool and Die over at Gross back in 11 Mile, and he would let me have a rabbit for 2 to 3 months. And it was always named Hoppy.
Fat
and
it up.
And I would fat it up, and then they would say, "Hey, Hoppy's got to go home," and I never got it. But the Germans would just eat like kings for a day after I would take it and feed it for a week when I was,
That's
4 or
genius by the
5.
parents.
I never got it. I'm like, why does Hoppy have to go home?
So mentioning travel real quick, I want to give you guys one tip before we head out. I was just in LA, obviously, and one of the things that I always have to bring with me whenever I go to all these random places is a hoodie.
And my beer box.
I'm getting there.
damn it.
Jesus fucking Christ. So I always have to bring a hoodie. And what's crazy is because you go to these restaurants, and if you've ever been to a restaurant, especially in the summer, like the AC is going to be blasting no matter what. You're muted, so don't even bother talking. Just you're done for the night. So I always wear my T-shirts.beer hoodie. My T-shirts.beer hoodie is so great. You can go check it out, T-shirts.beer, if you need any apparel. And, of course, they're the ones that help us supply the Michigan Beer Box. If you go to mibeerbox.com, you can subscribe to the Michigan Beer Box. You can get a glass. You can get a shirt. Or in August, the August shipment is going to have an extra special gift for all of the subscribers. Compliments of Better on Draft.
Also, if you follow us on Instagram, which I encourage you to do,
at My Beer Box.
My Beer Box is giving away tickets to the Jimmy John's Brew Fest.
Jimmy John's Brew Fest.
So all we're asking is post a photo of you in your My Beer Box. We're going to repost you, and you're going to be entered to win free tickets, 2 tickets, to the My Beer Box, co-hosted with Better on Draft, Brew Fest. So order, take a photo, and get free tickets.
Shamus, thank you so much for being on tonight. We appreciate you giving us a little lesson on distribution and what you guys are going for. Obviously, we support you in anything that we can do to help get the word out. That's going to do it for us, Better on Draft. You can like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped. All those are Better on Draft except for
YouTube?
Untapped, which is Bod Podcast. YouTube, Better on Draft. You can listen to us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us live on the conversation right on Facebook, facebook.com/Better on Draft. And, of course, you can subscribe to us on all podcast platforms. And that's going to do it for us, Better on Draft. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's
Better on draft.
Better on Draft. Have a good night. Peace.